Hey, how y'all doing? It's Josh from KeepItTechie, and today I wanted to do a quick video on the DU command. Now, the DU command stands for disk usage. It's basically a standard Unix command. It's in most distributions of Linux that basically give you information on the disk usage of files and folders, whatever you specify while running the command. So I'm gonna go through and run the command, show you guys a couple of examples, and so let's get to it. So yeah, I got my VM up and running. It's Ubuntu today, which is basically Ubuntu with the XFCE desktop running on it. So I'll show you guys that once I log into it a little bit. It's a pretty cool, and it's basically Ubuntu 18.4. Like I said, with XFCE running on top of it. So it's pretty cool. I like XFCE. It's real lightweight. It's a good desktop environment for new users coming over from Windows. It's very simple to, do stuff in it. So let's get started on this thing, but I'm gonna open up the terminal first. We're gonna make it a little bigger so you guys can see. Let me zoom in one more time. That's good to go. Okay, cool. So the DU command. First, I want to show you guys the man page. So we can type man and then DU and press enter on that, and it'll show you the man page for it, which is basically the manual. So it gives you a summary of disk usage of set files recursively for directories. Mandatory arguments, 2 long options, or mandatory for short options 2. So anyway, it's just a quick description of it and a few examples, or the synopsis. And this a little information about the different options you can run up on it, and good to go. So we're gonna quit that, and I'm gonna show you guys the command now. So let's clear this out. So it's basically DU and then the directory that you want to run it on. So I'm gonna run it on my home directory, which is home Josh. Press enter on that, and as you can see, it goes through and gives you the size of each file and folder in that directory, as well as the total amount. Now, as you can see, it's in a format that's kind of hard to understand if you don't know what you're looking for. So just to show you guys how to fix that, we're going to use an option that we've used in multiple commands before this. So it's basically DU-H, and then let's do the home directory again. Josh, press enter on it, bam. And with the H, you put it in the format of the size of the file itself. So if it's 30 megabytes for that total directory, that's how much it's using on the disk, 30 megabytes. And then you can see it, it puts it in all in human readable format. So if it's less than a megabyte, it puts it in kilobytes. If it's a megabyte, it puts it in megabytes. If it's a gigabyte, it's gonna put it in gigabytes format. So that's what that -H does. So let's clear this out. The next way I want to run it is using the S option. And what the S option does, it gives you a grand total of that directory. Instead of listing everything recursively, we want to just see the grand total of that directory. So you would use the S option. So it's basically DU-S, and then we're gonna put the H on there for the human readable, and then we want to go home, and then as well as our Josh folder, home directory. And as you can see, the home directory is 30 megabytes, and that's basically the same size as it was before. It's just summarizing everything. Instead of it showing you, it's counting up all those folders and files to come up with the total at the bottom. It just gives you that summarized total when you run that -S. So the next option I want to show you guys, let me clear this out right fast, but it's basically DU-A, and the -A if you know anything about these commands, these utilities that are built into Linux, like I've explained in other videos, -A stands for all. So any other file that it may have missed in here, the -A will grab it, because certain files for some reason are not, calculated up. But if you do the -A, it'll make sure it grabs every file that's in that directory. So anyway, the next command I want to show you guys is, or the next option I want to show you guys is -K. So let's clear this out. And what -K is for is basically like back in the day, when this operating system was created, they didn't have the hard drive space that we have nowadays. So a lot of stuff was being dealt with in kilobits and megabits. We didn't have gigabits and terabytes, all that good stuff like we got now. So that's the reason for this. It's kind of redundant, because when you run DU without any option, it's gonna put it in kilobit format. But back then they needed this option for the -K, so that's why it's there. I guess eventually it get removed or whatever, I don't know. But the -K option is really not needed. It's kind of redundant. So when you run it, it's just gonna put everything in kilobit format, which it does anyway when you run it without the -K. So, but the one I really want to highlight is the megabytes. So in case you want to look at stuff in megabyte format, so you basically type DU and then -M, obviously for that, for megabytes, and then H for human readable. That way it'll put that M behind it, and then go home. And Josh, press enter on it, and there you go. And I never ran this command on anything that was over a gigabyte, so I'm not sure if it puts stuff that's in gigabyte size into megabyte format. I can't remember if it does that or not, but I mean, as you can see, if it's something that's not even quite a megabyte at all, it's gonna leave it in kilobyte format when you run the -M command. So, but that's an option you can run. So next, let me clear this out. Next, I want to show you guys the C command. And what this is used for is basically a flag that provides a grand total of the disk space at the last line. So it'll just say total at the bottom, which I don't know, it's kind of redundant as well, in my opinion, but this option is there. Maybe I'm not explaining it 100% right, but I know it gives you a total grand total at the bottom, and it just says total. So I'll show you right fast so you can see. Press H, and there we go. It's 30 megabytes as the total. So let's clear this out. And the last and final option I want to show you guys is it's basically the exclude option you can add to it. So if we go DU, and I'm gonna use -AH, and then the way you do exclude is you do -- exclude, and then you have to put the equal sign, because you want to tell it what to exclude, and then you need to put this in quotes. So you want to put star. If you already know what file type you looking to exclude, then you could do store.txt. So let's say you don't want to include text files into that total that it gives you for that directory. So that's basically the format that you do. You do store, which is a wildcard. It basically saying anything before a dot, but it has to have text at the end of it. I want to exclude, and then you have to tell it the directory. So home, sorry about that. You go home, and then Josh, press enter, and there you go. It's gonna exclude all the text files. Now, just to show you that this really works, let's try this Splite, because with the text files, it's not that many text files in here, but this Splite, I think it's a lot of Mozilla like little Splite files up in there. So, and I think they're pretty big, because as you can see, this didn't change. It's still 30 megabytes. It's not many text files in there. So we're gonna run this using the Splite file. So anything that's .splite, which is some Mozilla file, I'll put that in there, and press enter on that. As you can see, it's 19 megabytes. So all those spike files that was in the original command that we ran have been excluded from this calculation of this usage of that directory that we pointed out. So I mean, that's just a clear-cut example of how to use the exclude command with that. I mean, the du command with the exclude option. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And of course,